80 for Koch.
The big 80. We have done 80 shows since June 22nd. We have had over 83,000 views. Can you believe
Amazing.
that? We are averaging approximately 1,070 per show, 1,070 people per show. And here we are in the Four Corners Project studio here in Beit Shemesh, Israel. And for the first time, our guest is from Beit Shemesh, Israel as well. Isn't that correct?
That is correct.
We have with us, we called him the 10th Schlocker. He is a man that was behind the scenes, but he was not behind the scenes. How's that for mysterious? Rabbi Brian Thau is with us in studio. Welcome, Brian. So today's an interview show, as you know. Today's an interview show. And as the fans and our followers know, we have once a week, we interview somebody who is was affiliated with the band, who either was in the band, who was a producer, who was a peripheral member of the band, and you would fall into that peripheral category. What does that mean? Well, we had J.J. Greenberg, may he rest in peace. He was a rapper. Dr. D, Dave Winter, who we've already had as an interview person. Alan the Krasna, right? And then after that came Brian Thau, Rabbi Brian Thau. And you would come up on stage, you would rap, you were involved in what I would like to say was the cutting edge of informal Jewish education through music and media.
That's true.
So let's start with something very, very interesting. What we're going to do is you'll see how this interview just flies, and then I'm going to have to do paperwork in between when we tell everybody to go to fourcornersproject.org and make a donation, and then we have to talk about. Okay, but we'll do that later. I want to start off by taking us back in time to Kennedy High School. Kennedy High School in the Bronx. Now, I don't know if you remember this, but you were an advisor for the Jewish Public School Youth Organization. Is that correct?
Oh, that's right. You mean the one that I have this T-shirt from, the Gypsy Public School Youth?
That's right. Very good. I couldn't have planned that better, Brian. That's excellent.
Gypsy Akiva Club.
That's right.
I also have the summer tour shirt. Couldn't find that one.
Well, I want you to tell the audience what it was like being part of Gypsy, the Jewish Public School Youth Organization, and what effect it had on you as a person.
Well, first of all, Gypsy, Jewish Public School Youth, was the real deal of what outreach was supposed to be. We were touching the lives of Jewish children in public schools on a daily basis. We had kids that had no connection to Judaism whatsoever, and our ability to walk into the schools and really transform their lives and have them participate in Jewish life, whether it be in a Shabbaton, whether it be for Friday night dinner, we had tremendous impact. And we must have dealt with between 1,500 to 2,000, maybe even more, Jewish teenagers per week.
It's true. And the thing about it was, it wasn't people that had a relationship with Judaism per se. We would go into public schools. And we would, and you were on the cutting edge, and so was I, and you would be talking to people that did not know anything about Judaism.
Right. And the best part was, like, when you would come in with your keyboard, you would floor them. You would absolutely floor them. Like, I'm talking to them, and they're going, well, this guy, Brian, he's not all that like he's not weird. He's Jewish, and he's not weird. Like, we always thought Judaism was weird. And then you'd come in and you'd blow the room away completely. Go, wow.
And they were all expecting to hear Hava Nagila. That's what they. Could you play Hava Nagila? And I look at them and go, we don't play Hava Nagila in this band.
Right.
I mean,
and some kids actually helped you.
Of course, we did. We did play Hava Nagila, eventually. Right. But the idea was to play schlag rock, to play songs that would bring them from their world into our world.
You actually had some of the kids, I remember, start writing their own schlock rock, their own raps.
Yes. We did
like
that.
right, like you need tefillin instead of you be illin.
Yeah, you're.
I
So
never
what?
forgot that one.
That's an old, it's an oldie but goodie, but it never made it onto an album. Now,
Right.
what year was that? Kennedy High School was that 86
It
or was it
was
87?
85, 86. I think it was 85.
85, 86.
Yeah. Yes.
Very interesting. Now,
Right.
I want you to know that you had a conversation with me that night after the club. We're sitting in the car together, and you turn to me and you say, "I'm going to be a rabbi, and I'm going to change the world." Do you remember that conversation, or you don't remember?
I do remember having a conversation with you at one point. I don't remember if it was in the car or not, but I do. I think we had this conversation quite a few times, and I also thought that Shlachva was going to be a huge component to Jewish kiruv in the world, and it has been. That part
Well,
was true.
I'll talk.
The first
We
one
had
being
that
big,
conversation. We had that conversation outside of Kennedy High School. That's where it was. I remember it like it was yesterday. You
wow,
know, like it was
cool.
yesterday. Anyway, so that was the first. Brian and I. That was really our first contacts because you were younger than me,
Right,
and we met through Gypsy. We met through the Jewish Public School Youth Organization. We did
right.
not know each other, I don't think, earlier, did we?
Well, I think we had met a couple of times because of my NCSY days,
Oh,
My Riverdale NCSY Gesher chapter. That was we had a you came to play one of our Shabbatonim, my earliest Shabbaton, the new light of Or Chadash.
oh yes. I just have one question. Did you ever throw anything away? I mean, that's 30 years old. That shirt, no,
I know
40 years
much
old.
much to my chagrin of my wife Penny. I have not thrown any of those T-shirts away. I do think I have somewhere. I have my Gypsy Summer Tour T-shirt also.
It's unbelievable. Okay, so that that was the beginning of your yes, the Jews brothers. It's the
That's
Jews
right.
brothers, ladies and gentlemen.
We're on a mission from God.
Yes, yes, yes. That is unbelievable. And that was what by the way, that is what it's all about for all of you out there. For anybody who wants to be a rabbi, for anybody who wants to be involved in Jewish communal service, you have got to bring the people in on their level and take them together. You guys rise together and get closer to God and closer to Judaism, and you do it by starting out with what you have in common. In our case, it was the Blues Brothers movie.
All right.
We
I
love
love
the Blues Brothers movie.
I know that David Winter and Richie Heisler, if they're listening, and J.J. Greenberg, they never heard me say that my cousin was the producer of the Blues Brothers movie. They never heard me say that. I think I must have told them that like 3 million times because that was like my connection to the Blues Brothers is that my first cousin Robert K. Weiss produced the Blues Brothers, and so I was a crazy, crazy fan of John Belushi.
Brian, does that mean you're very, very rich?
Halavai, halavai. I'm
All
rich
right.
in
Well,
mitzvot.
that's right because the bottom line is money is a nice thing and it's nice to have money, but what's more important are the deeds that you do and the words, your words and your deeds, and how you live your life. Now, by the way, our associate producer Judy Hertzfeld is chiming in. Is chiming in on
Yeah,
social media. She says, "Nice hat." She
thank
says,
you.
"Nice hat." So you
Yeah,
got a
I
compliment.
was gonna wear my Met hat, but I thought that for the Jews brothers, since I was like Jake, I
So
should wear the
yes, if I were the Jews brothers, I would be instead of
yeah,
putting the band back together, I would be going to the
putting the
promised
land
land.
putting the land back together. That's what we need to do. We need to bring all the Jewish people and bring the land back together, the
That's
people together.
true. Now we're going to talk about your time in Israel and also what you did with Shlachrock because you did a number of things. But before
Sure,
we do that, let's talk about Lincoln Square Synagogue. You were involved with Lincoln Square,
sure.
I think, as a youth director. Were you the youth director
Yes,
there?
I was the youth director there, and my first year there, was again in 1985, 86. No,
And guess what
86,
you
80,
did? Guess what you
86,
did?
87. 86, 87. 85, 86, I was still at the RJC.
And
That was when I,
who did you have at Lincoln Square Synagogue to perform?
well, of course, listen, wherever I went, Lenny Solomon performed. Why?
It's true.
I mean, very selfish. First of all, Lenny was awesome, and I loved going on stage. But that's not why I did it. I knew I could guarantee that every Jewish kid would be turned on if I had Lenny on stage.
Thank you very much, Brian. It's amazing. Now, but
Right.
you did. We performed at Lincoln Square. It was fantastic. And
Yes,
we're going to
and
fast forward now to 1989. 1989, you're in Israel. I think you're there at Grus. I think you're
right.
there as a rabbinical student getting
Yes,
your
Smicha.
becoming a rabbi.
Right.
And
It's 88,
you
88 to 89, and 89 to 90. We had two
yes.
concerts.
And what were you doing there? You came to the filming of Cotel in the Night.
Right.
You might be familiar out there with Cotel in the Night. Brian is in the video Cotel in the Night, as is Eitan Merwis, as is
AJ Greenberg. I love a
JJ
shalom.
Greenberg, and a lot of people came. It was really a great night. Some people from Australia, Penny Balvin was there, and we had a great time. We went down to the Cotel and we made a fake dance set, and people joined in. And
Right.
then we also had to walk down the stairs because the lyrics of gotta go to the Cotel in the night, stick around until it's getting light.
And I,
Think about the things you want to find, take them home, but don't leave them all behind. Whoa, ho, ho,
whoa,
the
hotel in the
Cotel in
night.
the night. Right, that was it. So what we did was, we had to recreate that. Phil Schiller was the videographer. Phil Schiller,
Yeah.
who originally he's from Mount Vernon, but he went also, him from Riverdale,
Yeah.
right?
He went to SAR with me. He was one of my classmates.
Right. So we had the whole band there. Brian was there. JJ was there, and it was a fantastic evening. And you were on that video. And as a matter of fact, if you, I think it's on YouTube, and if not, we're gonna have to put it on YouTube so you can see it. And then you move back to America, and you become an assistant rabbi in Los Angeles.
Right.
Now,
That's
why are we
Jacob.
telling people all of this? Because we're telling people all of this to show that Jewish education was what you were about. You were there to help Jewish people get closer to God,
Right.
and you would use informal Jewish education. It was what I would always say. That's the way to reach people, because you have your formality in the classroom, but you need the informal part.
Right. And one of the things that we did in LA, which was unique, is that the shul hired me that I should be the rabbi for the kids. So if you're going to be the rabbi for the kids, you got to be able to reach them in the way that they understand that you care about them.
Yes. And so you bring me out to L.A. with Jonathan Rinberg. Jonathan Rinberg, for those of you who don't, we're going to have to get him on the show too. But Jonathan Rinberg is a fantastic musician. He's been on a lot of albums as a backup singer. And even he sang the lead for Under the Chuppah, the original on Purim Torah. But we're doing a concert at Beverly Hills High School, right? You remember, on the lawn at Beverly Hills High School.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, that was unbelievable. That was also a big thing.
Right.
Because nobody had ever done that.
I did again. I was doing Gypsy in LA without the support of a Gypsy, but we got the school to agree to allow me to go in, and that was when we had you come to do the performance as well.
Yes, and that was, and it was hard. It was hard for you to get permission
Yes.
to have us come.
Right. They were very concerned. They were very worried, like what was going to happen.
Who
The
knows what was
aliens
good?
could take over the school. Now
Well,
become Jewish.
well, I think 90% of that Beverly Hills High School was Jewish,
Yeah,
weren't
I
they?
think I think so. I think so.
But All right, so we're around it. Believe it or not, we're halfway through our interview. It's unbelievable. It goes so fast. Let me just do a little bit of paperwork. Now, remember, everybody, if you're watching from Facebook, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment. If you're watching from YouTube, either on the Schlock Rock channel or the Four Corners Project channel, hit like and subscribe. Leave a comment. If you're watching on Twitter, it's at Lenny Solomon or at Schlock Rock, but this feed comes off of at Lenny Solomon. We want to wish a refuah shlema, very important, to Peril Bat Esther, Miriam Dodi Bat Chana Yochevet, Eliza Bat Batsheva, Yitzchak Ben Yenta, Shmuel Michael Ben Malka, and Esther Tzipora Bat Laila, and finally Rivka Fruma Bat Leah Bela. And wait, we also have a mazel tov to the Thau and the Zilber family, as Miri Thau got married to Yossi Zilber 2 nights ago. They asked me to announce it. Usually I don't announce simchas. We only do refuah shleimas, but it's good to announce a simcha, isn't it?
Sure is.
Now, what's going on over there, Brian? You're turning the light on. You're turning that off. Are you trying to recreate the police
I'm
scene?
I'm trying to find you. I can't find my screen.
You can't find your screen?
Yeah, I somehow. Oh, there you are. For a second.
Wait, did I freeze? I don't think I froze.
No, you didn't freeze. You didn't freeze.
Okay, good. So we're still going. So find your screen. Find your screen. I thought you were recreating the police scene with the lights going on and off in the Jews Brothers movie. That's what I thought you were doing.
I think I have to come back on. I hope.
No, you're on. Don't worry. You're totally on air. You're on air,
okay.
And I see your face. I see you came on again. 1 minute. Let me put you on again. Now we have 3 of you. Let me just there you go. All right. What do you think now? Okay, don't worry. It's all good. It's all good because here at the Schlock Rock headquarters at the Four Corners Project studio here in Beit Shemesh, Israel. I forgot to give the biggest announcement of all. The Four Corners Project is a 501c3 not-for-profit organization whose message and whose goal is to make people feel good about Judaism through music and media and formal Jewish education. So everybody out there, we've had some nice donations lately. Keep it up. Keep it going. We must continue. I do 3 shows a week, and also I have 2 new albums that I want to make. I have music videos that I want to make. I want to make a new webisode for everybody called Exploring Israel. There's a lot of stuff to be done because you guys are going to be coming to Israel shortly. I don't know. It's just a matter of time. I don't know how much time, and I don't know if you're going to be coming on eagle's wings or on wings of an eagle. But you'll be coming, so you got to learn more about Israel, everybody out there. I think we should make a special announcement that starting on Monday, we're going to make a prayer that God should take away the coronavirus from us, and we're gonna pray together that God will take away the coronavirus. We have to do that. Yeah. We're gonna do it Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We'll do it starting next week, because the science is the science, but we have to talk to God.
Absolutely.
We're not going to talk to Bob. We're going to talk to God, right?
Absolutely.
That was another Blues Brothers reference for you. Okay, so Brian, let's continue with your career. Now, your Schlock Rock career continues in 2004. But before that, we're going to go back to, actually, it was before 2004, because you were on the Schlock Rock Hanukkah special as the rabbi. When people could have called you the rabbi of Schlock at that point.
That is correct. I think what you wrote on that video.
Oh, so maybe that's where you became known as the Rabbi of Schlock, because you went on and you gave the Dvar Torah, you gave the words of Torah for our Schlock Rock Hanukkah special. Now, but you meanwhile leave L.A., you go back to New York, and you become the assistant rabbi at OZ, at Ohav Tzedek. Right. Where again you bring us for a concert. I think, Brian, you were tied with Joey Friedman for the total amount of concerts. I think like 8. I think I've done 8 concerts.
Yeah, I think might have been more.
It might have been more. I know that if we go through the discography, the gigs thing, you're right. It might be more. But you.
Because I also remember when I was in Smicha in 88, 89, before I got married. I ran that concert in
Oh,
Yerushalayim,
oh yes.
and then the second year I ran the concert again, and then
Well,
L.A. And
yes.
that's
And
before
then
that's
you
after
went to
Lincoln Square
OZ, and
and
then
OZ,
back to Lincoln Square, and then you went to Fairfield, New Jersey, also.
Fairfield, Connecticut.
I sorry, Fairfield, Connecticut, right? And you were there, and you brought us there. And then let's go to 2004. In 2004, you appear on the Schlock Rock album Tnulanu Siman with your kids.
Right.
The song Yidid Nefesh, track number, I believe it's track number 10 or track number 11 on Tnulanu Siman. It's a great, great song.
I also think we did Mansbach.
Oh, that's the first track. So you're on both. You're on the first track and on the 11th track of Tnulano Siman with your kids singing in the chorus
Right.
with a group of people. And what did you think of that experience? What did you think of the whole recording experience?
It was a lot harder than I thought it would be. It
Right.
wasn't so much fun. It takes a lot of
Why?
work.
It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. For me, it's a lot of fun because for
Yes,
me, I'm used to it, and I've done 42 albums. So it's when you've recorded 42 albums, it's just like another day in the office.
but you're a maestro. You understand every piece of the song and what it has to sound like, and take and retake.
Now, so all of these things were thank you very much, Brian. What all of these things were fabulous, but I think that the saving grace, your greatest schlock rock moment, your
Yeah.
greatest schlock rock moment, was when I came to Brooklyn, New York, to do a concert, and I asked you to come down because I had no voice. It was in the middle of like 9 Hanukkah concerts in 7 days, and I had no voice. My voice was blown. And I said, Brian, you got to sing this show. Now, you actually know the lyrics of pretty much every schlock rock song going of the early years, I'm going to say
Right.
through 1995, through the Woodschlock era. Is
Yes.
that a fair?
Which lot? What? I mean, again, Jewish Pride, Kosher Police, um,
Lenny and the
most
Schlockers.
Lenny the Schlockers.
Yeah. And you sang lead. You sang the lead. I said, Brian, I can't do this. You're going to have to do it. And you sang the lead. You knew all the words.
You
We did
called me
old
up.
time,
I was at home. I remember like it was yesterday.
and we did old
I
time Torah scroll. And then whenever I would come to camps that you were at, we would call you up on stage, and you would come up and sing. So you really were the 10th schlocker.
Yeah,
That
and don't you
10th.
remember we had you at Camp La Vie, and then I also
Yes,
had you at the Camp Y Camp.
Camp La Vie, the Y Camp, and Camp Masora.
So
All
yeah,
those camps, and you came up on stage on each one of those. So, I guess to summarize it, as we're coming to the end, we still have 6 minutes, but I want you to. I want to spend the last 6 minutes talking about what you're doing now.
right.
But before we do that, but you just to summarize, you understood the power of this music. You understood the power of what of Jewish education through music and media. You understood it.
From the beginning. I remember the first Shabbatonim as a kid. The music was what moved me from the beginning,
Yeah.
and from there, everything else takes off. We talk about it in education, the portals of entry. When
That's
does a
right.
family come in? When does a kid come into to Judaism? There are different times. There's when a parent has a baby, they want to have a Brit Milah, the portal of entry. There's nursery school. Parents say, "How do I want my kid to be Jewish?" And then there's a span between that and like bar mitzvah, like
Right.
11 or 12 years old for like Hebrew school. There's a portal of entry. Your program, your music is a portal of entry for every age.
Right. And thank God we were able to do it. Thank God God gave
Yes.
us that ability. and God put people in my life like JJ and like David Winter and like the Kraz and you, and people who, you know,
We saw it.
people who understood it, who understood the power. Now I wanna segue a little bit to you because you are in the Schlock Rock Hall of Fame. For everybody out there, you go to www.schlockrock.com. You click on archives, and you'll see the Schlock Rock Hall of Fame. You'll see it. It's there. One of those buttons. There's a drop down menu. I
About
can't
us,
rem-
I think.
I can't remember. Anyway, so and there will be, and you're I think the 21st member, or you're one of those like the 21st inductee. And by the way,
Yeah.
I've got to induct Nachum Siegel next, 51st. He's going to be the 51st member of the Schlock Rock Hall of Fame. Will be Nachum Siegel, and we're going to induct the members of Kesher. Joey Friedman is already in, but we're going to have Tzvi Pill, Shlomo Horowitz, Avi Feinberg. Avi Feinberg was we're gonna have to bring them in some soon. I
Right.
should really get to work on it. But anyway, so let's talk about what you do now. And you're living in Israel. You moved to Beit Shemesh. What is your job now, and how have you continued your career?
Well, when I came to Israel 12, 12, 12, I didn't have a job, but I said, I'm going to get a job. I don't know. I don't care what it is. If I have to sweep floors in Israel, I'm going to get a job. And I didn't think I didn't have to sweep floors.
Yeah,
I found a wonderful organization called Beit V'Tikva, House of Hope,
Bayit
V'Tik.org.
V'tikva.org, House of Hope.
Yes.
What does it
And
do?
this girl's home is a small miracle. It's a big miracle. It's 110 girls who have been removed from their homes by Child Welfare Service, Misrad HaRevacha. These are
Oh,
serious cases of girls that cannot live at home.
wow.
And it's the toughest cases. There are organizations that have big, big homes with big, big budgets, and they give us the kids with the biggest problems. And we take them with loving arms open, and we work so hard on them. And thank God we have a big success rate of making sure these girls grow up, have a job, have a career. We have two girls now in medical school, one in Milan and one in Warsaw. We have girls in the nursing programs at Kiryat Sanz at the Mariano Hospital.
Wow.
And we help the girls get into seminaries. We pay for their seminaries. There's no one to pay for them.
Wow.
We pay for their weddings. We
It's unbelievable.
commit to their first year rent, housing, clothing, furniture, everything. That's
It's
just a small thing. That's
right.
not our budget. We do that because we love these girls. They're our girls.
It's an amazing thing because you basically what you're telling me is that you're still really involved in giving and giving to the Jewish people and helping and trying to help bring Mashiach and getting everybody in the right frame of mind, and it's really a nice thing. I've heard great things about the House of Hope and of which you're involved with, and it's really kol hakavod. It's fabulous.
Yeah, so we have a nice website. We're on Facebook. I just promoted the Four Corners Project on my Facebook page.
Very nice. So let's promote the House of Hope. What's the website for your organization?
BayitV'Tikva.org. BayitV'Tikvah.org.
All right, I will put it in the description in our YouTube feeds
Great.
and our Facebook feeds. I'll put it in so that
Thanks.
people can see it. And it's been great having you. I want to tell
Can't believe
everybody.
it's over.
Yes, so it's unbelievable. It just, it's a very funny. Everybody that comes on, and by the way, who have we had? We have had, just to let you know, we have had Gary Wallen and Yona Lloyd and Danny Block and Mark Skyer and Mark Infield, Chucky Epstein, Ethan Bill, David Winter, Alan Krasner, you, Joliet Jake Jews.
Gary Wallen wrote to me and told me, "You don't forget to wear this." So shout out to Gary Wallen.
All right, Gazole. He comes through again. I got to tell you that it's a cool look. It's a very cool look.
Thank
Very
you.
cool. So listen, so everybody out there, first thing is we're going to be back on Monday with show number 81, a music show. Next week we'll be interviewing somebody else. I don't know who yet. I kind of decide over the weekend and then we set it up. But we're very happy to have had. What was that?
For JJ.
We have to do a memorial for JJ Greenberg.
Yeah.
We're going to do that next year around his yurt site. It's going to be, we'll do that next year. Around Rosh Hashanah time, we'll do a special. We'll bring in David Winter and you, and we'll have a little bit of the Kraz, and we will remember JJ, who was one of our closest friends. He was just a fantastic guy, and passed away back in 2002. But anyway, I want to tell everybody out there, we hope you've enjoyed the show. Come back 11 p.m. Israel time on Monday night, 4 p.m. East Coast, 9 p.m. UK time. We will be continuing with a music concert Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and it'll be fantastic. Have a great Shabbat.
Can I say one last thing?
Yes, you can.
Lenny, if I had the kind of money that I really want, and I hope someone's listening out there, if you want to invest in the Jewish future, one of the best places to invest is in the Four Corners Project.
Thank you. I do think it's very important. I also,
of course,
agree with you.
Talmud Torah is very important. Yeshivas are important, and economy is tough. But what Lenny's doing, no one else is doing.
Thank you. It's humbling to hear, and we will keep going. We will keep on schlocking. That's what we're going to do.
Absolutely.
Everybody out there, have a great Shabbat, and remember, Lenny Solomon Live coming to you next week with show 81. You have been listening to Lenny Solomon Live. I want to thank you all for coming and thank our guest, Rabbi Brian Thau. We will see you next week. Have a Shabbat Shalom and keep on schlocking.